Did you ever have to do boot camp?
I did it twice, as a matter of fact.
I have a black car. Nobody ever notices it, which is good.
No, nope,
Yeah.
the gray man.
Isn't it true that
It
your
is.
insurance is higher if it's red? I think.
Well, I don't know if it's actually higher, but if you're in a sports car, then your
Mhm.
insurance changes because obviously they suspect that your vehicle will be stolen more times over, say, a white one or a silver one.
Right. Does lime green bring back memory?
Lime, yeah.
Okay, the reason why I brought up lime green, it reminds me of a certain car I used to own.
Yes.
Yes, and a bunch of us used to drive in, and I have to get this out of the way because for
Mhm.
the viewers watching right now, Sonia and I and a bunch of other people go way
Oh,
back
they're
to
watching already. Oh no.
yeah, we have viewers, and we're going to be on a podcast
I better
actually
stop
too.
picking my nose then.
Yeah, don't pick your nose.
Okay.
That's great. You haven't changed. That's great. So yeah, so we
I'm
used to
not
cruise
supposed
around.
to change. That's what makes me me, right?
Yeah. Well, didn't they look for our car? I mean, they looked for us Friday nights. Everybody looked for us because we were the
Yeah.
party,
When
right?
I just told this story, I was because somebody saw obviously the advertisement for this happening,
Oh yeah.
and somebody said, "Well, who is this guy?" My kids were definitely like, "What's going on, mom?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Listen, remember I told you this story, guys, about because I had a Volkswagen Beetle too for a short period here. I had a
Yeah.
78 Super Beetle and it was red, and we used to play Cubana music in it. So my
Uh,
kids know a Volkswagen.
right.
So I said, well, when I grew up, I said, Mike was the guy who had the lime green Mazda. And it was like, and we all were stuffing into this car. I said, and because I was deemed the smallest,
Yeah.
I got to ride in between the seats
Yes.
because that way we could squeeze more
Yeah.
people
And
into
you
the
used to straddle the center console there. So I
exact.
had to kind of reach between the legs to change gears, and
Yeah.
we used to grind into third.
And
And
that was the big joke. Yeah. Because of
yeah,
course, yeah.
yeah. I was afraid to shift it into fourth
Yeah.
because, and that's where you came
Allowed
in.
to.
Oh, I'll shift that one for you. Yeah. So that was
My mom will find out about that.
hey, your mom liked me actually. We got along great. We used to go over there and hang out,
My mom's great.
Oh yeah, your mom was always laugh a minute, eh? She
Yeah.
always
Oh, yeah.
chuckled.
She's
Yeah, we used to hang out at Marble River and everything. That was pretty cool, eh?
you
That was
know,
definitely a hangout place.
we
Yeah, we
definitely
went.
had a good childhood. Like I have no
Oh
complaints.
yeah,
I know there's some that do definitely, they wanted to get away big time, but I never
yeah,
did. I never did. I love it there. I love when I drive
yeah,
home now. I love going through the Nimkish. That's my
yeah.
favorite spot. Yeah.
Okay, so who else was hanging out? I think Sylvia Repetowski, or
Sylvia
she's
Kwiatkowski, well, when she was allowed out.
when she
And
was
then,
allowed.
yeah. And then we had Bonnie Stanwyck for a period of time was with
Right,
us as well. Occasionally Susan Lervick.
that's
Um,
right. Sue, yeah,
Susie Q be with us.
yeah.
And then Connie and myself, of course.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was crazy. Those were the days.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
a great time. It was a great time.
Yeah. In case people are wondering, because there's people who don't know which town we're talking about, Port Hardy, because I mention it all the time. My goal was to put that place on the map. I was going to make it famous, and now they know about it in Germany and France,
Oh
and
my gosh, really?
oh
Fantastic.
yeah, yeah, we're all over the world now, eh?
You're
So
famous though. You don't understand how many people actually know about our little, and I
mhm.
usually call it fly shit on a map town.
Yeah.
Because when I was on tour at one point in Israel, I was flying home from Tel Aviv
Oh
and I'm
wow.
sitting in the airport, and of course you're under like complete security and stuff. And I'm sitting there, and there is this couple beside me, and they've got a National Geographic open up. And I look, and all I can see is a picture of water, like it's underwater. And I said to them, I said, oh, I said, are you into diving? Yeah, we're into diving. I said, you know what? The best place to go for diving in the world, I've been told, is my little town. And they were like, well, unless your town's called Port Hardy, that's not
No.
where we're going. And I was
Are,
like, what? I was
they're-
like shocked.
in Tel Aviv, they said that.
In Tel Aviv. And I've ran into people all over the world
Yeah.
over in Holland and everything. They know where Port Hardy is.
Wow.
And I'm
That is
shocked.
so cool. And it's cooler being from there. Hey, so what? Okay, so when did you actually leave Port Hardy? I left in 86. I left because of radio. So what happened to you?
So that would have been 83, the year before graduation. My mom sent me to Rogers Pass to go to work.
The
And
ski
then
hill.
yeah, no, to Rogers Pass, the actual pass itself. There used to be a gas station up there and a hotel and everything. And I
Okay.
went to work up there. So I got a taste of being away from home. I went back home, and that's when my father decided that we were going to become pioneers and move onto a ranch in Williams Lake. And that lasted, I think, a year, maybe 2 years, something like that. And
Mhm.
then by that point, my mother had decided that I needed to spread my wings. So I moved to Victoria and I moved in with Jeanette and
Monique Bailey.
Monique Bailey and Jeanette. Yeah. I bombed around there for a little bit, and I ended up meeting my husband
Okay.
there. And shortly after, we started a family, and then I was on the high seas. He was in the Navy. He was gone a lot.
You definitely, I recall, you knew how to stand up for yourself. And when you, excuse my language, when you got pissed off, you were a stick of dynamite. Yeah. I think the story you're going to head into and how you got into the military and everything, I think you were suited for it. Nobody pushed you around. It was like, yeah, you didn't mess with Sonja.
I always thought there was a fairness in the world, and there should be fairness to every single person, and it doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
And I stood up for everybody. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
know who it was. So it was funny, because when I did end up joining, and a lot of people who didn't even know I was in the military for years would message me and say, "We're so shocked you did that, because you gotta follow orders, and you gotta do what you're told to do, and you gotta blah blah blah." And I'm like, listen, I'm telling you right now,
Mhm.
the pay is great, and no, nobody's telling me what to do. Most people don't know that. Yeah, I worked so way back when
Mhm.
you could get, there was no nursing license for an LPN. It was just a practical nurse. And I did that. I was trained in the hospitals, and I did that. And then my husband's career was what threw me off, because we were posted. And every time we got posted, I lost my job. When I first joined, I was actually living in Chicoutimi, Quebec.
Oh,
So
wow. You really traveled around.
So way up north, we were living in Bagotville, actually, where the big, I don't know if you ever heard, there was a huge floods that happened when we were living there at the same time. So Belle happens to listen to this. I love you, girlfriend. And her and I went down there together, and we did all of our, the testing and everything for it. And I ended up getting in, and she did not. And I went from there. Like, I was the first, what they deemed complete Anglophone, to join the HMCS Champlain, the Stone Frigate in Chicoutimi. And you'll hear it later on. Me being on Stone Frigate is a joke in the Navy, because I've been in the Navy most of my career, but I never served on a ship. So
really?
Yes, but I'll tell everybody I was on the HMCS Champlain, and that way they all shut up until they realize it's a Stone Frigate. I was pregnant with my third child, and ended up having to take leave of duty,
Okay.
because I obviously had to take care of her.
Okay.
But then we moved from there to Comox. And when I got to Comox, I was now home. I had my 3 children. I couldn't work anymore as a nurse. I couldn't pick up nursing in BC, because my trade had been grandfather claused, and I had missed it. So now I was untrained for anything. And what am I going to do? Right. And I was the one who brought sort of the life to the room when I would get there, and I would volunteer, and I do all of these things. So it was a lot of fun.
I could see that.
Sure.
You're
It was
always laughing.
Yeah. So it was a lot of fun. And I think I always feel like I brought something to, the organization and to my trade, for sure. And
So with the Air Force, is it true because of our budget cuts and whatnot, is it true they tie guys to the airplanes and put little pistols and make sound effects with their mouths and go pew, pew?
So I'll tell you a pew pew story.
Okay.
So we don't tie them to the planes, but we do pew pew.
Yeah.
When I I was doing my PLQ, which is my first junior leadership course.
Yeah.
I'm in Quebec City. This is where they send me, right?
Okay.
So they send me to Quebec City because I'm in the Navy. So they send me to the Navy one.
Yeah.
And I've never been doing anything Navy. So I get there. We end up in the field. So we have to do a week of field duty. So we were out in the field and stuff. And oh my God, because you know how short I am. I know I look 7 feet tall in here, but I'm quite small. And I hear sniper. So it's like, oh my God, it's like, so everybody runs, right?
Oh yeah.
And now I look first. Now this is the first thing I have to do. There's got to be at least a 20-foot snow wall, because you know how much snow there is in Quebec, and they get these big tractors that go through and they just basically cut the snow into like a tunnel, right?
I've seen that. Yeah.
I had to turn around to my friend and ask her to help me up. Like I had to get a boost up the
Couldn't
hill.
see over the top.
Yeah, and then I had to pull myself along the snow. I had to pull myself with the tops of little pine trees, like saplings.
Mhm.
I had to lay flat because if I stood up, the snow was too deep and I couldn't move.
Okay.
So now I'm up there and we have blanks, you know, so you can hear. So I'm aiming and you're doing your, you know, blank shot. And all of a sudden you're out. And you can tell when everybody's out because in the bush, all you hear is pew, 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 pew. And they're like, and you can hear the staff screaming, you didn't get them yet. You didn't get them yet. And you're like, pew, 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 pew. It's like,
on the next episode.
so the Dutch in the middle of the night pulled the Canadians' dead bodies up into the hills and buried them, most of them in Grosbeak.